Attention bobsled riders! You will soon be embarking on a thrilling podcast down the icy slopes of the Matterhorn. So please remain seated, keeping your hands, arms, feet, and legs inside the bobsled at all times. Auf Wiedersehen!
He's thinking about starting.
Yeah.
Hello, Yodelers. We are the Matterhorn Yodelers. I am your host today, Japheth, with...
Jackie?
And...
Bob JPEG's back. I've got some things to say about Iger.
Yes, you got it. You're opening up the complaint box.
Oh, you know it. You know it.
And then we also have a special guest,
Grumpy Father Yodeler.
Grumpy Father Yodeler.
Grumpy.
I'm not kissing your forehead. All right. So today our episode is we're opening up the complaint box, and we're gonna tell what grinds our gears about Disney. It's just so if you don't like hearing people complain,
You know what grinds my gear?
what bad podcast?
Bad podcast.
another podcast of Disney.
Yeah.
Yes,
Add it to the list.
but we have longevity.
We do. And we have consistency.
That's what people say. You have a lot of episodes.
Not
Yes.
a lot of listens, but you have a lot of episodes.
Yes, we do.
So we're gonna just go off and just tell us what really gets under our skin or what bothers us. And while we're doing that, think about what really makes you mad about the Disney company. There's a lot of things that make you happy. There's some things that just like, you know what? They need to fix that because it's not working. All right. I will start. I hate
Ooh.
the soggy churros
In Florida.
in Florida.
Yeah.
I hate how you look forward to going to the Mexican pavilion and getting that churro coming from the West Coast that completes your Disneyland experience, and going there and eating a soggy churro. And that was when I was there.
And they're smaller too. Their churros, they're not like the Disneyland ones are like they've got some substance.
Well,
to it.
they will only get more soggy as you eat them, so you make them shorter so that they
It's true.
seem better.
So So we'll start in the parks about like what bothers you about Disney.
Their soggy churros are better than the crunchy ones at Subway.
Subway's.
And you had to pay $7 for it, didn't
Yeah, it's like no, I'd rather have a
Is it a
soggy
foot
one.
long churro at
Yeah,
least, or is it only for
it's a
6
foot long.
inches?
It's a foot long, crunchy churro that's like, yeah.
They're like crouton churros.
So
They put it on a salad. It's healthy.
so they need a climate-controlled place to sell churros in.
I don't know
Florida.
what it is, but there's been so many theories like the humidity like makes it
I
soggy.
think they pre-make them.
They're garbage. They're just pure. It ruins. If you are going from Disneyland to Disney World,
Don't get a churro.
don't get a churro.
Don't.
Yeah.
I don't
It's a
unless
trap.
they fixed
There's
it.
other good food to get at Disney World.
But I imagine the news would have been all over Disney. They fixed the churros at Disney World.
That's what that was the announcement you were waiting for. D23 was all like, "Congrats! Hey, guess what? We found a way to not have soggy churros in Florida."
I was hoping it was going to be like a musical show part of the Disney Expo, that they do.
Right.
Have The Rock come out, like we fixed it. No, it didn't happen. So, all right, Jackie, what bothers you about something at the Disney parks?
You know what grinds my gears? When you wait in line to get an ice cream, and you get the ice cream of Mickey Bar, you bite into it, and it's rock hard.
Oh,
So frustrating.
yeah.
And then you have to wait to eat it, and you're just holding it.
I hate holding things.
Hate it.
Hate it. Especially the Disney part, and the chocolate part melts before
Oh, yeah.
the vanilla part.
Yes.
And then you end up biting it from the side, and then you crack your tooth, and you're like,
You're like, it's not worth it.
that's a good one. Yeah, that's disappointing. All right, Peter, what do you got?
So mine, you guys might disagree with, but Something that's always kind of grinded my gears is at the Bengal barbecue.
It's on my list.
There's only like 3 pieces of meat on that skewer, and I paid $12 for that thing. And I'm like, oh, come on.
So
Give me 2 more.
So
Chicken's not that expensive.
here's the price, $7.29, and then they show you it's 3 pieces. And there's like 3 chicken nuggets, and they drizzle some hot sauce on it.
Exactly.
You get the Zulu, and you're like,
it's
"Ooh,
good.
It's
the
spicy."
pork, the pork belly's good, but like, holy cow! Come on, can you give me something here like that? I'm treating this as almost like this costs as much as a dinner would cost, a meal would cost me normally.
Yeah, and that definitely made my list of like, you get it, and you're just terribly disappointed. You look forward to your mouth is
You smell
salivates.
so good. You wait in that line.
You know, you're already disappointed that Indiana Jones is closed, and you're hoping to be the first one to jump in there with your fast pass, but it just doesn't satisfy.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, that doesn't work. All right, Father, you got anything with Disneyland?
Yes, the fact that they don't have any live shows you can sit down
Big
and
one.
Yeah.
that is
Live
huge.
entertainment
You know,
keeps
the
getting cut.
California Adventure Theater, they're doing nothing. The one in Fantasyland, they're doing nothing.
They have the princess. Don't they do the storytelling anymore?
Oh, they do the storytelling in the Princess Fantasy Fair.
Yes.
But
That's still there.
there are no backs to those, so you know you're you don't get a full rest going.
No, and
there.
they like block it off too at night. You can't even sit in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not good. No air conditioning, no places to sit down. I mean, Fantasyland Theater is even cool because it's shaded in there.
Yeah.
So that works. But there's no shows going on. You can't even go see something like Captain EO in the theater in Tomorrowland.
Yep. There's nothing there. It's just this empty theater.
Yeah, and it's like, what?
Just anything. It doesn't-
Anything.
Just play Steamboat Willie in there.
Yes.
Yeah.
The Disneyland Paris, they had that big amphitheater in Tomorrowland, and they would show cartoons in there. It was June when we went, and it was just blazing hot, but it was a place, like it was covered, and there was AC. I think there was AC. I don't know. It's European AC, which is not very good. But it was, you were out of the sun, and it was nice. You could sit in there, and they let you just, rest.
Do you want to make good money, Disney? You take that little Captain EO theater and you show the original Star Wars A New Hope,
Whoa.
and you charge premium movie ticket prices to get to sit in there and see it. It will be sold out for a decade.
As long as they don't turn the 4D effects on.
No, you don't need the
You don't want to
effects.
bounce when
No,
you're doing
it's-
down the
it's
tunnel
the-
run? That would be so fun.
It's the giant fan they turn on to make you feel cold because it's so loud. It's a
No,
and like you can't even hear the
you
movie.
don't need the physical effects. You just need the original
Right.
but
stereo
think about it. You're
sound.
doing the tunnel run
Oh yeah.
at with the New Hope. How cool would that be to be like kind of like hovering that like?
That's why I always enjoyed going to see Captain EO, is because you had the full sound effects. The sound effects were great. The sound system in there was really good. So that would be a way to make money and have.
they would make
seated
some
thing.
good money.
That would make great money, wouldn't it?
Maybe.
Oh, it would.
Oh,
If you just charge $10 and people are just like, I just want to chill in here for 2 hours,
people
put some good
totally
chairs. Oh,
do.
people
The thing
go.
is, you can just leave
Man,
it
a
open.
good chair for 2
You don't-
hours.
You
Yeah.
don't have to close it. You can just leave it open and have people come in.
And
Like you
go.
can just have Star Wars. It could be this TV show. It could be the movies. Just constantly playing, and just have it like you come in, you can sit down, relax for a couple hours, or like an hour or 20 minutes or whatever, and then you just go.
Oh, but if you had the original one there,
Oh,
they
people
would
would-
be flying in, making reservations.
Watching Star Wars at Disneyland.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
I like that idea. Yeah.
But mostly, just give us some place to sit down that's preferably air conditioned and it's got a show
Yeah.
for at least half an hour, because about the only way you can do it now is you get to ride the train around the park for 3 times, and you might get the same effect.
It's true.
All right.
What grinds your gear?
ECVs.
Oh yeah.
I hate ECVs. Even though I'm not working there, I hate them. They scare me. You put grandma in there who hasn't driven in 15 years legally. She cannot drive a car. And you put her in the lawless walkways of Disney parks.
Main Street is like horrible for ECVs just because like there's so many people going
In
one
and out.
direction, and if you're going the opposite direction as some people in an ECV, you're like, be prepared to have your foot run over because they don't care.
They scare me.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a swerving car on a freeway. You're like, I'm going to back up or I'm going to speed up and pass them as fast as I can because they make me nervous. And yeah, I don't like them. Get a wheelchair, push them around.
Yep. You know what grinds my gear is when you're waiting for the parade and you got like a good spot, right? Or a fireworks show, any type of like crowd gathering, and then you got the aggressive stroller mom that comes in and just like parks it right behind you, and then their kids are just in your bubble and you're just like, give me some space here.
Yeah, they come in
They come in last
disregard
minute.
of your personal space.
Yeah. You're
They-
like,
my kids don't bother me. Well, they bother other people, but they don't care.
yeah. And it's just like, I waited for a little bit for this. And you just come in and try to take my spot.
Disney adult.
It is true, like you think there's this common courtesy, but it is
Nope.
it's just it's a gamble of who's gonna sit next to you
Yeah.
in this game.
It really is.
There was like a moment I was like gonna watch I think it was like a parade, and I got a good spot, and then last minute a big family comes in right around me and their kids are just like literally like squeezing in front of me, stepping on my feet, and I was just like, I'm done, and I just walked away, and I was like, what a waste of my time.
And they're like, "Oh, that was great.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Well, it
Yeah,
sucks
give
for
it a-
them." And track
Wow.
one win for the jerk.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
All right, Peter, what do you got?
Oh man, where to begin? I mean, there's a lot. I mean, like if we're talking about guests, I mean, that's a nice long list that we can do there. But
Disney should just ban guests.
yeah,
Yeah.
just ban them all. Just leave it for me. I just want to enjoy Disneyland. You know what? It's one of those things. Something I don't get, and it kind of ruins the experience for me. Is I don't necessarily get why certain attractions are popular and why others are not. And so, like Peter Pan,
Yeah.
I get Peter Pan's is a great ride. I don't think it's an hour wait for me. Like, it's not worth it for me. So, like, it just kind of grinds my gears. Like, there's certain attractions that I kind of don't get to experience just because they're unnecessarily long.
Roger Rabbit's up there.
Roger Rabbit's
Why
one
is
of
that
those.
so long?
So they need to Dumboize them like they did at Walt Disney World, where they put two Dumbo rides in order to get people through quicker. They need two Peter Pans.
Two Peter Pans.
Well, Disney World has a Omni Mover loader for Peter Pan, and they also have the queue that's fairly long. Where that time, when you see that time, you're just like, yeah, I'm good.
Yeah, they've got the back seat for the ship also, so
Yep.
you get
You
more
get
people
more
in
people
there.
on it.
However, there's something fun about those Disneyland.
Don't get me
Ships.
wrong. It's a great ride, but it's not worth the 45 to an hour wait for
The consistent
for,
wait.
for a minute ride. It's just not worth it.
I
to
think
me.
for the longest time, people were like, oh, this is how you rope drop Peter Pan. Like, you have to get Peter Pan first. And then you realize that's the worst time to go to Peter Pan.
unless you're literally first in line,
Yeah.
it's not really worth it. Because like if you are just 5 minutes behind, forget about it. It's over.
If you want the shortest line, you got to go stand out in the sun for a little bit, because that's when the line shrinks down. Is when the sun
midday.
is
11
shining
o'clock to 1
on
o'clock.
The line.
You can do that. You can hit it. You can hang out like at the border of Fantasyland for right after the fireworks end. You can kind of rush in that way, because People don't always run to Peter Pan after the fireworks. Most of those families are heading out
You have to be careful though, because I did this last trip. You get all the disability
Yes,
people
this is
come
true.
in, and it prolongs the
Yeah.
line.
And we
Yes, it
waited
does.
forever for you.
Yeah,
To the point where like, nah, I'm good. I want to go home now.
yeah.
All right, Father Yodeler, what's something at Disney parks that
Elder abuse. The elder abuse the park puts on you to say if you want to order food, you got to use your phone to do it. If you want to buy this merchandise, you have to use this phone to buy it. If you want this special
Everything's on your
pass to get
phone.
in, or if you ever want to get us to ride the Star Wars ride, you have to use
Boarding
your
groups.
phone. It's like, no.
The phone, keeping guests glued to their phones all day. I feel that.
And
It's
and
ruining
then
the
it's
experience.
just hard for elder people to go, I don't know how to do this.
Well, and it's one of those things like my wife, she goes, oh, I love how like it's all on the app and things like that. It's great. And it's like, yeah, you're okay with it because that's me. I'm the one
Yeah.
that's always on the phone. Like, okay, I got to get the next fast pass. I got to get that ready. I got to also get my mobile order ready. I got to make sure that, like we're being efficient. And
yeah, you're doing multiple things in one location as opposed to going to one location and doing one task.
right.
You can't do the stroll through the park and say, oh, I want to get, pineapple
spontaneity.
swirl, No,
No.
I
You
can't.
you have to know what time of day you want to go get your
Yeah.
pineapple swirl, your Dole Whip.
Your Dole Whip.
It's
yeah.
like
There
10 o'clock in
is
the morning and you're
walk up.
booking for it for.
You have to know where to walk up. You can't walk up where you used to walk up before.
Yeah.
They don't serve it there.
Nope. You have to go
They
to the
look
back.
at you. They give you a dirty look, and it's just like,
Are you
What?
Anthony? Yes. Give me the food. I'll steal this food. I don't care about Anthony. I want your food.
My number's 4382.
it is not a happy experience anymore.
I agree.
It's different. That was on my list. Is FastPass.
Yeah.
That I have to pay for it now, and it changed how I look at it. I look at a ride. I'm going, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna pay for the fast pass, and then when I finish it, I start thinking it like it's food at Disney parks. Going, was it worth the $26 to ride the Tower of Terror?
It was like when it was COVID, they didn't do Fast Pass anymore. Like they stopped it.
Yeah, you were there for that transition.
Yeah. And it was so nice.
Oh yeah, that's.
When
I
there was
would
no
pay.
Fast Pass.
I would pay more for a day that they don't have fast pass, that they don't have those things. I would pay more to go
Throwback
in.
Thursday.
I'm all down. I always say this, everyone complains about, oh, I'm paying for fast pass. I'm saying make
just
people pay for it. Make them
Yeah.
pay $200 a person for it.
Make it like Universal.
Oh, you're saying make it really expensive.
Correct. And that way, like, it's the best of both worlds where your lines aren't bogged down with all these fast pass people. You're getting about the same amount of money from the whales that are coming to the park. And it alleviates a lot of the problems that a lot of the guests complain about with the long waits and things like that. So that would be, I'm all down for that. Some people could be like, oh, you don't want to pay $200. Well, yeah, I know most people aren't going to want to pay $200 for a fast pass for the whole day. But guess what? There are people that will, and and those people that pay that, they shouldn't have to wait at all if you're paying
No.
$200
Yeah.
ahead to go skip the line. So I don't have any problem with that. But Disney likes making it seem like, oh, everyone can afford it, which makes it's that, syndrome from Incredibles, like once everyone's special, no one's special. And that's how I feel about how the current
And it's
Fast
getting
pass
to be
system
the
works.
straw that breaks the camel back, meaning guests are going to start turning that off. I mean, they've already had a downturn in their profits from the parks, and I think it's starting to
Their
show.
expectations were too high that they're gonna make so much money.
Well, also people are learning how to move the park without it.
Are they now?
Yeah.
No, I think it's my next point, probably my last point for the park, which I think encompasses everything that we've been talking about lately. They're just too complicated.
Yes.
The parks are too complicated. You got to know how to, you got to know where to buy your tickets. You can't go up to the ticket booth and buy tickets to Disneyland anymore. No, you have to go online and buy them. You have to know how to mobile order if you
You
didn't
got to
wanna-
know which park you're going to go to that day. I got turned away from a park.
Correct. You got to book the proper day. You gotta know about boarding groups for rides that aren't open for standby guests. You got to know about FastPass, how that system works.
You
And
can't
like,
spontaneously show up at the park.
if you,
because
if
Yeah.
it's
You better
killed the
hope.
park experience for the next generation of people, because like right now you've got this high of like Disney fans that grew up with the way things kind
Yeah, the
of were.
millennials were
Yeah.
the last before. They were the last ones before the phones took over the
Right.
parks.
Now, this next generation, they're going to hit a drought of people that are just like, nah, it's not worth it. Disney parks are not worth going to. There's too complicated. There's too many packages. There's too many little things that you have to learn.
I can just go to the beach.
three different apps you need to download. It's too much.
I don't know. This
too much.
generation loves their fantasy. They love their stories. They identify with them. They go to these Comic-Cons. I think they'll be fine with the attendance of that. And I think they will adapt. I see what you're saying. It is overly complicated from what we had.
I mean,
'cause
like
we're comparing.
it's not a problem
comparing.
for me because I know how to work it all.
Yeah.
But for the everyday guest, the family that goes to Disneyland once every 10 years or whatever, they're just going to be like, I don't know what I'm doing.
It used to be I didn't understand when parents would tell me, "Oh, I hate going to Disneyland." Now when they say I hate going to Disneyland, I go,
You're like, I
"Yeah,
get it.
I understand."
I get it. Yeah.
It's complicated. It's hard. You know, how do you get to what you want? It's just complicated now.
Yeah, it was one thing where you just had like you show up and you got a map, and you got all the information you really needed from that map or a little flyer of like what's going on. But then like they came out with like the study guides to the plan out the best trip. So it started planning there, and then Fast Passes got introduced, and then it just blew up with
Well,
this
I mean,
app.
you used to be able to look at a line and say, "Okay, I can wait in that line." Well, you don't know that there's another line that's going to slow down this line that you're going to get into, and you're going to be what looks like a half-hour line is actually a 2-hour line because you're just going to be standing there while the rich people go.
And you
through.
got people that are always like that don't understand how rides operate and which attractions they should be going to first. Because I talked to one who's like, "Oh yeah, first thing in the mornings we go to Pirates of the Caribbean." I'm like, why?
That's the one. You can go to that one.
You can go
Why?
anytime.
Anytime.
And that line moves.
Correct.
Yeah.
Except if they're putting a fast pass in there, that could ruin anything. But
I remember going to Pirates during like the early hour one time, and I forgot. I was like, "This ride is so long."
yes, you're trapped now.
I was like, "I'm trapped in the longest ride
It's like-
ever."
And so it's just there's a lot of and there's a lot of Disney YouTubers and podcasters that'll give you the tips and tricks, but like not everyone has the time to go watch all those videos. Like Fresh Baked, he's great at doing line analysis
Yes.
on things. Like he's
But
fantastic.
some of those
Who's
videos are
going
2
to
hours.
Remember
Yes.
that when
Correct.
you get to the park.
Correct.
Yeah.
That's too complicated.
Correct. Someone like me, I understand all of it, but for the average person, the park is too complicated.
Yeah, it's losing, like how it used to be. Where we're here.
The spontaneity of like, oh look, there's a band playing right here. Let's watch them play. Like this is entertaining. No, now it's like go. Got to do this. Got to do that. Got to do. No. We got to save money. Got to Like
And
it's-
Fast Pass was kind of fun back then, where you got it, and you're like, okay, I could come back, or I can bank this for another time, and then they stopped that, and
Yeah.
it stopped being fun.
Yes.
And when they stopped letting us bank things or show up anytime after,
Yeah.
allowed us the flexibility to like, nope, we're going to be inflexible with this. And I think after that, they just started poo-pooing on our fun. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's paying for it now where it's just like, ugh. that does it for
Well,
me.
I also don't like what grinds my gear is with the new Fast Pass system is you can't get another Fast Pass for the same attraction.
Yeah.
Like it was with Max Pass, you could get multiple Fast Pass for that same attraction as long as it was still there.
Yeah, that's
You
starting.
can have 6 fast passes for Space Mountain.
Yeah.
You're starting to grind my gears just bringing up the different names because I don't know what they are anymore.
Yeah, now it's
Genie Plus, Max,
now
the,
it's
Lightning
the Wristband,
Lane.
Lightning. I'm so
it's-
confused.
It's
I'm like,
multi-lane, like
Yeah, they just changed it.
Lightning Lane, multi-day experience.
It is
It's like whatever.
insane.
It's just
what
like,
they're
why did
doing
you
now.
change it? Just change it back to Fast
Just
Pass.
Go
go
to
bring
Fast
back
Pass.
the A, B, C, D, E ticket
Yeah.
books back, and that'll do it.
that even complicates too.
No, it was
so easy.
complicated. Then
It's just so much easier. You go in the park, do whatever you want, and if you want a fast pass, you go to that location and you just show up for that time if you want it, or get rid of fast pass and just go back to the simplicity of have fun in the park. Just go and do. It is nice to order your food somewhere and roll up and pick it up. That is nice, but was it
or
really that hard
find a
waiting 5
table,
minutes?
Then order your food.
Yeah,
Yeah.
find a table, order the food, and you just chill until your food's ready.
That's right.
Was it really that hard to wait 5 minutes or 10 minutes in a line for food? No, not really.
No.
Yeah. Any other park complaints?
I think that's a good one.
Yeah, we
to
can
end
move on.
I do have one.
Oh, yeah.
I hate when people say the Space Mountain at Disney World
Is better.
is better
Oh, yeah.
or it's the same. That really, you want to get under my skin? Tell me it's like, yeah, it's the same ride. And it's like, no, it is not the same ride. It is the same name, and that is it.
You've got like the Super Disneyland fan and the Super Disney World fan. They're like, no, our Space Mountain's better. And you're like, you're crazy.
Yeah, I met one person like, no, it's really the same, and I just looked at him so like, have you been tested for a TBI recently? Are you? I don't know. I don't trust your judgment. So yeah, that one. You want to get under my skin? Talk about that one. All right. I'm just gonna throw this out here. When it comes to Disney news, I hate InsideTheMagic.com.
Inside them.
Yeah.
As
They
far
are the
as
worst.
oh yeah, I
hate
avoid
them.
those. Oh, avoid those.
They are the worst.
They are the clickbait. They are the scummiest news for Disney ever.
They're pretty bad.
This is what I read. Just one popped up on July 31st. Disney Space Mountain closed forever. Ride ends operations after 40 years. What?
So what was the real story?
This is closing for
I didn't even look. I didn't want to get sucked in because it
okay.
just
To-
scrolls.
I know.
Tokyo.
It just
Oh,
keeps
Tokyo,
scrolling
okay.
and scrolling
Tokyo.
and scrolling
Oh
and
yeah,
scrolling
you get all
forever.
those ads and all that.
All the ads, and then it's like, well, the history of it begins here, and you're like, where is?
You go to the last 2 paragraphs, and that's where it's like.
And then it's all
okay.
like, actually, it's back up here, and you're like in that like Find Your Fate Indiana Jones book
Yeah.
of where the real news is, and you find it, and you're just like, you're so mad that I was like, oh, I got clickbait.
Yep.
Yeah,
Oh.
avoid all those. Find a news site you trust and just go there to get your news. There isn't breaking news very often that you can't wait till once a week to look online and at your favorite Disney news site.
I
Right.
just hate it. I hate that one every time.
that's
It
a
gets
pretty
me.
bad
Just a
one.
little headline. And it's like this, and I'm like, what? And I'm like, oh, it's you.
It's
You showed up again.
it's
didn't
like
you?
the National Enquirer. Aliens came down and ate my wife. You know.
Bad boy bit Bill Clinton. He escaped Area 51. I miss Bad Boy. It was something to look forward to at Safeway lines. I think he died when he tried to get Saddam. I'm not sure. Does anybody have any media issues that really gets under the skin?
Dave, I do
Like
have
YouTube? We
issues.
can talk about anybody have YouTube?
yeah.
My issue with the influx of the Disney news sites and the Disney YouTubers,
Especially the
Are-
podcasters. They keep saying like Doris Day and Debbie Reynolds. They keep getting them confused.
I know, right?
I know. I was wrong.
He was wrong in the George Lucas episode. No, it's they kill these special events. So Disney holds these special events in the theme park. So like after hours and things like that. And they're like only one night. Well, that's guaranteed that like 3/4 of that crowd are media
Yeah.
and influencers. And then like only a small percentage of those people are actual guests that will actually get to experience it. And so it's just kind of all like, you killed it for the everyday people. Like, that's why it's impossible to get Oogie Boogie tickets unless you're like there at midnight ready to hit submit, you know, like.
It's like getting Taylor Swift tickets now.
Yes.
Essentially, it's very difficult to get the special events, and you know, it would be really cool to take my kids to one of those, events.
But it's like almost impossible.
You have to go to
get.
Disney World because nobody goes there.
That's
Yes,
true.
that
And
is true.
They
That is-
have so many.
They have a lot at Disney World, and you can those are actually attainable. Disneyland, they are not.
No.
They are not.
It's
attainable.
exclusive.
Yeah, because we've done those special events lately, I would say in the
Couple
past
years
like
ago.
few years.
Yeah,
And like you get in this online queue
it's ridiculous.
and you wait like 6 hours. Like I had
And then they have a pop up. They're like, "Would you like to do Genie Plus?
Well, and
where you
then-
pay extra to get ahead
and
of
then
the
it's
line."
like super like anxiety inducing because they're like, you have 10 minutes and that's it to get your transaction or
make
your,
sure
Oh,
you're-
yeah.
you got your credit card information ready.
Why did you give me the one that expired? I hate you right now.
And so like before the day that the tickets go on sale, you got to make sure your app has the correct card information and you are not very busy at work
You gotta
that
keep-
day.
Yeah, you're either calling out for work, your phone is on the charger the whole time because you can't let it black out on you because you lose your spot.
Well, and you usually should have like a computer up and a phone up in the queue.
That's nuts.
Yeah.
It's just
Again, it's too
overcomplicated.
complicated.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's just complicated.
But again, but I do feel that the Disney influencers that go to these park events, they ruin those experiences for the everyday guest.
And that was one of my other things with Disney adults that buy up all the special merchandise.
Yes.
Oh,
They'll buy multiple, and then they're like on eBay for $2,000.
You know
And
what-
you're like, get
Sellers.
out of here.
You know, Disney could easily fix this problem by just selling it online for just a little bit more expensive.
Yeah. And they would
And it
make more.
would-
They would make more money probably.
And make more money, and it would get rid of the problem.
Unless they're making so much money of these guys buying it, hoarding it, and then like they're not able to sell it for the $2,000 for a Figment popcorn. you know,
Yeah.
thing.
Can we talk about popcorn buckets? Those are ridiculous.
Sure, we could talk about what grinds your gears about popcorn buckets. What makes you so mad, Jackie?
they go empty. I go. That's what grinds mine.
Way
is
to go.
They go empty.
I just don't get the hype around popcorn buckets.
You don't get it.
I don't get it.
That's fine. It's not for you.
I like saw a YouTuber and they're like, "Oh, here are all my popcorn buckets in this tub doing nothing."
It's what I do online. I go, hey, these are my rocks. I found these rocks on my walk. You know, like it's just you're showing off plastic in the shape of a character,
Yeah.
and people are waiting in hour-long lines and buying them. It's crazy.
the ones that we liked, that we would get, are the ones that actually like are toy-like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where like they actually do something besides hold
It's dual
popcorn.
purpose. You're not gonna be like, and then I'm gonna put this in my glass case at home. If that's what you collect, that's great. You're like, I like popcorn buckets,
if
and it's
that's
like,
your
hey, that's
thing-
your thing. That's great. But I just don't see more than 100 people in the whole world collecting popcorn buckets. But just because it's a craze, everyone has to jump on it because that means there's money to be made there. It's like the guy that's at Goodwill and he's scanning every book to see if it can make him money on Amazon. And you're like, dude, you're ruining the fun of finding something really cool in the park that we can all like enjoy instead of you buying 80 of them and walking around the park like you're the 40-year-old who just hit the jackpot at Chuck E. Cheese. You're like, oh, I wish I had that. You're so cool. No.
I'm still waiting for my Indiana Jones 4 M&M mints.
They never came
go
out.
Up. No.
Oh, yeah. That's right. You still have them. You still have the
a
bag.
bag of the Indiana Jones M&M mints. From what year was it?
It was
2008.
Crystal Skull. So,
Yeah, Crystal Skull. I've still got those. I'm waiting to sell those on eBay and to get sued for killing people.
Selling food.
They'll turn you into an atomic ant.
I do have another one on Disney influencer.
You can. This is a free.
Yeah.
You could jump around. I had a structure loosely. Like, just you can talk about anything that makes you mad.
No, I want to go back to the Disney influencer. The expectation that Disney should have a new attraction or a new expansion every D23. Like,
Oh, the expectations of Disney Disney fans.
yes.
Yeah, they need to cool it.
Because, like, I was just thinking about this. Last D23, they announced a ton, right? What are they going to announce next D23? They don't have enough time or money yet.
We're going to groundbreak all those things we announced 2 years ago.
Yeah.
They're gonna have more musical
and then
events.
and then Disney fans are going to be mad because, like, the Disney influencers are going to be mad because they didn't announce enough so they can promote and make money off of it.
It
I
is
will-
a weird cycle that they are in.
I
Yeah.
will say this. They needed to do something this last D23
Yes.
because the one prior was the Blue Sky D23.
Right.
And so that one did not sit well with the people that are interested in that subject matter. But I mean, at least this one, it's one of those things. Yeah, what we're going to be getting is we're going to be getting updates on these projects that
That's
they're working
what's
on.
important. Show the updates. Show a little
gonna we're gonna
hey,
get
there's an
the update.
animatronic, and everyone can be like, whoa, and we can
Because-
Sonic the Hedgehog that, where we're going, that's stupid. Scrap it and fix it.
Because, like, you notice that, like, there are some projects that got more attention than others. Like, for example, we didn't get a lot of details on Villain's Land.
Nope.
We didn't get a lot of details about the Avatar experience. So, like, these are going to be key points that they're going to be focusing on in the future. That, like, that's what they're going to talk about, or like what they're going to do.
We'll get the
there.
model.
They're filling in.
at that time to say,
Correct.
here's the model of Avatar Land.
And that's good enough.
Yeah.
That keeps
Yeah.
the like excitement going.
Because they've been talking about this Avatar not
Forever.
no,
Avatar
not-
experience?
Not Avatar. I'm sorry, Avengers.
Oh.
They've been talking about this Avengers Campus thing since before Avengers Campus even opened. They've been talking about this e-ticket attraction that they were building. So, like, it's just going to be, or D23s are just going to be more or less updates, and we'll get occasional announcements like, hey, we're going to get a new fireworks show, we're going to get a new parade.
Keep it
like,
simple.
Those are going to be the
Yeah.
announcements that we're going to be getting. Like, there'll be every once in a while, be like, oh, look, we're going to be updating this attraction.
Like, I watched an influencer, and he was like, they need to do more updates in this park so that way I have more to report on for my videos. And I'm like, meh.
That's a lame problem. to have.
Yeah.
That's first world Disney problems right there.
Hey, that used to be Walt Disney would deliver the news himself every week on his show, and that was great. You didn't have an influence. You're getting it from Walt Disney himself, and there it is, you know. You look forward to it. I think it's a mistake for Disney to wait 2 years to release something, because, yeah.
I do think that they do have a missed opportunity with D23 with that they only do. I know, I get it. It's a logistical nightmare to organize conventions, but to only do them every other year, I think that's a mistake. I think they could easily be doing more than they could easily
These
be doing.
fans love getting together.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, it's all about getting together. The vendors like being there. And you just have to you don't even have to do a big event.
Nope.
You could do the big event every 2 years. Like where you're like, we're showing these movies.
Right.
But people just want to get together, do cosplay,
Right.
look at merchandise.
then like D23 again, it's like the after hours, like it's become a nightmare just to get tickets
Oh,
to go
yeah.
be a part of.
And
Like,
to be there.
to be there, like it's a nightmare. And you know, I think it would benefit them greatly if they did traveling conventions. They said like every 6 months it would go to, they would be smaller, they would just be in different cities around the nation for Disney fans to get together.
It's kind of like their museum.
Yes,
that-
like the
that floats
museum.
around.
Yes, absolutely.
Nobody wants a museum. Ask George.
That's right. Ask George Lucas. No museum.
I'll give you $1 billion. Nah, it don't work for me.
Could use that in Phoenix, right?
Scottsdale Galleria would love it.
Yeah.
I've got a thing. I'm tired of getting notifications that Disney Plus is raising my rates. I'm really.
What, you get that more often than you find out that there's going to be a new show on.
Yeah.
That's
dude,
what
I feel
I
like
hate.
my wife keeps telling me, yeah, it went up. And I was like, didn't it just go up?
Yep.
And then she's like, yeah, it's going up. And I'm all like, and this leads me into my next thing with Disney Plus. I hate your homepage.
Oh,
I can't
yes.
find where your new stuff is, where it's actually even
It's
worth
hidden. It's hidden.
having.
It doesn't even look like Disney anymore.
No.
It doesn't. It's like
It's
you call
lost.
it something else. Call it
It's-
Entertainment Plus.
You call it
Pretty much.
You call it Buena Vista Plus or something like that.
Touchstone Plus. Call it that, huh?
It's just the
It's-
Hulu has overconsumed, like, or just
It
I'm
has.
just overwhelmed with it.
Yeah.
Hulu needs to be separated from the rest of
Yes.
Disney Plus.
Or just
Like,
you
it
or
could
just
still- it
separate
could-
Disney Plus, where you click the Disney Plus and you just get what's new with Disney.
Yep.
What's yes, there is a Disney thing, but I want just the tab of like what's new, so I can say this is worth having because I'm this year. I know what's going on, but I'm really like, you shouldn't be charging me more. And they're like, well, we're trying to be profitable. And I'm like, well, stop spending $200 on like, or $200 million on Secret Wars or these high value or high price things, and just go that are just not good.
Well, it's getting to the point where it's just like, am I paying for Hulu at Disney Plus rate, which I could get Hulu on its own cheaper?
Yeah.
Because Disney Plus isn't really producing new stuff.
If I didn't have small children,
Yep.
and we weren't doing this podcast, it would probably be on the chopping block, or I would
It'd be
cycle
a-
it every
it would be
6
a
months. Like,
rotating one.
I'll pick it up in 6 months. I'm starting to lose when I'm like, oh, this is worth getting this for. Like, I had a regular show coming out with this, with as much content as they have. I'm starting to lose it with them.
When you can't produce as much as a network TV channel,
Yeah.
why do you have
A subscription
a
system.
subscription system?
Yeah.
Because it's just not producing enough. Give me at least as much as ABC produces,
Was it Disney Plus, no ads, $16 monthly.
Yep.
And I'm not even getting like I'm getting what, 4 big TV shows a year?
Something like that.
I'm paying $160 for that with no ads. With ads, it's $10 a month. So you're paying $120. Just Disney Plus, not including Hulu, not including ESPN Plus. So it's one of those things like, we're trying to be profitable, and it's all like, produce something. Like, I find myself going on Netflix, and that is garbage.
Yeah, it is.
Now, I see your daughters watching their tablet. I don't see them watching Disney on
YouTube.
that tablet.
It's
YouTube.
YouTube
And
now.
it's like Disney's going to lose to YouTube if they don't figure out how to keep people entertained. Because
I mean, it's something that I've gravitated more towards is YouTube now over the other streaming service.
Actually, I'm pulling away from YouTube. I'm just
what are you pulling to?
more Netflix, and I find myself watching Prime and watching
stuff,
I'm
yeah.
watching old people TV shows where they like reflect on life about their near death or divorces. It's really sad what algorithm they're feeding me, and I'm like, well, I find this refreshing. Death and divorce. Sorry, Disney. It's just they got me on the right algorithm. You gotta get me. You gotta hook me. And
No, I think they lost a lot of Disney Plus subscribers with the Hulu combination.
you think so?
Yeah.
That was rough. Like they need to treat it like, yeah, you can keep Hulu on there, but you need
Have
it
it a
separate. You
separate.
need to keep it separate.
It's too much gunk.
But it's, when you're in Europe, it's together. I remember when I was there a couple years ago, I was all like, "Oh, they got Disney Plus at the Airbnb," and I was watching. I was like, "Oh, it's weird seeing the Kardashians on Disney Plus," but it was. I just feel I'm overwhelmed
Yes.
with Hulu stuff and all the stuff that they have there.
Well, and the thing is, like, I watched the YouTube video that they release at the beginning of each month of what's coming to Disney Plus this month, and I go Hulu, 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 Hulu. Oh, look, a kid TV show, and this obscure movie. Okay.
So yeah, my gear's got some sand in there with Disney Plus.
Absolutely.
You need that family entertainment like Walt Disney used to provide on a weekly basis. You don't have to necessarily do it for every day, but at least on a weekly basis,
yeah.
you've got to have something that's for the whole family. For the whole family.
And more on that, put more of your old stuff. There's a lot of old stuff that like is great. Put some of your historical like stuff out there.
Where's all the 20th century?
Where's all the 20th century movies?
They
I
paid
mean-
they paid like 80 billion for it.
Correct. And they're not using them.
It's like, wow, all these.
They'll only put them out there when they're releasing a new movie with that franchise. Like, oh, Alien? Okay, let's put all the Alien movies out there now. Okay, now we have that. But, like, what about the other stuff? Like, it is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Oh, on the platform of Disney Plus, what grinds my gears is putting in my password on my Roku. One click at a time. There's nothing secret about that password. No one has numbers on their remote. Why did you do one click at a time? My daughter is 4, and she's saying my password out loud as I put it in.
7.
It's just like, and I look at my wife, and I'm all like, "What's the point? What's the point? She's gonna be the 5-year-old that's watched Deadpool because she has access to my Disney Plus because she knows my password." Yeah, so
Wait,
I want something different, please.
you know what grinds me? The Disney Cruise Line. They don't have a Disney train line.
Ooh.
They need a Disney train line for us landlubbers that would just get on a train, maybe from Disneyland to Disney World, and it's a Disney experience the whole way.
Well, that's an American issue because trains are not as big.
Oh, but they're there. They're there. If you made it a Disney train, how popular would that be?
It'd probably be as popular as the Disney Club.
Yeah. I don't know if it'd be that popular.
As popular as Rainforest Cafe was in the 2000s.
Well, they nixed the Disney airplane when
There's only so much space a train provides.
How about the Mickey Mouse restaurant? How did that do?
Yeah. I like the idea. It's a novel idea.
It's a novel
but
idea. I don't think it has legs.
Walt would love the idea.
There we go.
Walt would love it.
You should at least explore it.
You
Your day with Walt, you would definitely do a train discussion on it.
You could go right through Marcel, right, in Missouri.
Yes.
Dang, brother. Say, Don's bright. It's always mine. Okay, I was kind of finish off with kind of films or like genres. Like for Star Wars, what grinds my gears is that they nerf the villains.
Yeah.
They just, in the books, they'll create these awesome villains and they'll kind of like, and we beat them at the end of the episode. They Scooby-Doo them, and it's just like, oh, you did all this big work up for them, and then you're like, no, we don't want to anymore. They did it with like, in The Last Jedi,
Yep.
with Snoke. And he's like,
And he's gone.
and he's gone. And he was just a guy in a tube before that went rogue, you know? And you're just like, oh, I was looking forward to that. And just little things that they do. Like, they make, like, Thrawn this, like, unbeatable guy. And then they beat him in Rebels. And I'm all like, well, our
Space
guys
whales.
could beat him. Yeah,
Space
Space
whales.
Whales beat Thrawn.
Space whales.
This
Yeah.
awesome guy that sees everything. And then he's all like, Space Whale, that'll beat me.
I didn't see that coming. I didn't see Space Whales coming and saving the day. I didn't see that
So
coming.
it's one of those things like, oh, can we let the Empire strike back? Can they win one? Can we do that, please?
They win somehow because they get back in power. Like, so.
It would be nice. Like, I just feel like they have this villain and they don't let him like win a little give and take. And this is kind of something
Well,
that
they did with Thrawn with the Ahsoka series. They let
they
Thrawn
let him
win.
escape.
They let him in.
How much of a dud? Like, well, we could have Ahsoka kill him, and then that's it. Like,
Well, at least they let him
escape.
live so that he could do something.
Yes, yeah. I'm hoping. I'm throwing it out there. I'm manifesting that he gets another win, except escaping Ahsoka barely. You know, like that's what I'm hoping. Don't kill my villain so quickly.
Well, along with the villain, what grinds my gear is in the Disney movies how there's lack of villains.
Yep.
Yeah, it's usually a parent, it's like grandma, abuela. She's an
Abuela,
Encanto.
yeah.
She's
Who's the
real
villain in the Encanto? The grandma.
Yeah, you reflect. You're like, I hate my grandma now.
And then Strange World, who's the villain? I'm the villain. I'm the villain in Strange World. Like, yeah.
Yeah,
Let the Muppets sing again.
yeah.
Let the Muppets with musical numbers
Yes.
out again. We miss the Muppets.
Yeah, actually.
I really
Give
like
some
that
time.
series. Like looking back with the band,
Oh, Electric Mayhem.
that was great.
I
That was a
love
great show.
the album.
That was a great show.
So
And
yeah,
they canceled it right away. And it's like,
they're like, it was too hard. We don't want to do this again. Yeah. With this is an Indiana Jones Crystal Skull. When people complain, what do they complain about? They're like, there's too many unrealistic things in that movie. Indiana Jones can't survive a refrigerator explosion and the waterfalls and the swinging monkeys. And I'm going, did you not watch the original ones? There's a guy that melted like a candle because he looked at the light. Or the guy that ripped a heart out and it caught on fire. Can we just play in the fantasy realm, please? Can we not take Indiana Jones too seriously? Like, his punches are louder than a gunfire, all right? My THX system's like, yeah, I like it when Indy punches. Let's, like, not take it too serious on the
I think that's one thing. I think people take movies too serious now. We don't take a step back and just enjoy the experience. We get caught up on,
You can't do that in space.
you can't do that in space. That's not
You
scientifically
can't have
accurate.
Mary Poppins in space.
Yeah, that's right. You can't do that. You can't, you know.
I'm Mary Poppins, y'all.
Exactly. Like, people is like, well, that's not continuity in the comic books or in the novelizations, and it's all like,
It's a movie.
It's
It's
a
fun.
story.
that's what
Roll
that's what
with it.
like I said, like, I would, when I made the comment, I think a little bit ago, maybe a month or two ago, where I talked about how it's like, I think the sequel trilogy of movies are more entertaining than some of the prequel movies. I get more enjoyment. Do I think they're better movies? No, but I get more enjoyment watching them because they're fun adventures.
Yeah.
And so, like, sometimes as fans, we need to take a step back and just, like, can we just enjoy what we have?
It's like George Lucas said, it's just fiction.
That's
Yeah.
right. It's just fiction.
It's just a story.
And
enjoy
it's my
it.
story, and I told it how I told it. If you
That's-
don't like it, oh well. Like,
That's what Disney's saying to us now about our Disney parks. It's just a Disney park. Just enjoy what we're giving you. Take it and pay for it.
and buy this popcorn bucket. Lots of them.
It's just make believe. Deal with it.
But spend lots of money on it.
But I think we are overly critical on a lot of things, and because of that, it hampers future growth and development of other projects that we might actually enjoy a lot more of.
So when we do our next movie review and you guys are overcritical of
Well,
the movie.
that's the problem. Well, and that's what I
kidding.
find with
Well,
We
that was
are
just fun.
the problem.
we are the problem. You're 100%.
You know what grinds my gears? People are overly critical and overly critical podcast episodes. Did we just inception ourselves?
We totally did. And I'll admit it. Like, this podcast has made me far more cynical on movies. And so I have to teach myself to take a step back sometimes and be like, things are not that bad.
That's
Come
the
on.
problem with
Mulan was really bad.
Movie reviewers.
I actually enjoyed Mulan. I actually gave that one a positive
You gave that
review.
one a positive.
the people who do movie reviews as a full-time job cannot relate to the average person who just goes once, maybe a quarter to the movies.
Right.
If you go to the movies every day of your life, you're going to view movies totally different than the guy that's just going out for an escape for an evening, you know.
Yeah, you understand
Well,
how
that's-
the stories go and how character development and whether this is doing a good enough for that based upon what you're educated with.
And that's why, like, you look at things like Rotten Tomatoes and you see, like, the critic scores, it's rotten, but then the audience scores all like, it's 95%, it's amazing,
That
it's
means
the
it's
best."
good.
That
Yeah.
means it's good.
That's
Look
good.
at the audience reception. Don't look at the critics.
Don't
Yeah.
listen to us.
Don't listen to us. We're not. Just talk to
just download us.
Just download it. That's all we need. That's all we need. We just need one person a week to download all our episodes, and
It validates our existence as a.
It makes us feel good.
props to you. I know we had one new person. We saw that one person downloaded all those episodes. Props to you.
We appreciate
we
you.
He's so
appreciate
mad.
that.
He's still trying to swipe us off, like delete.
He
delete.
accidentally like downloaded all the episodes.
He's like, no, I wanted the guys yodeling. Ah. Instead, he's got us like, you know what, grind my gears. He goes, you guys aren't a German clock? I don't understand. Why do gears grind? This just makes no sense. All right, do we have any other final grind gears, or are we good? Have we really grinded our way
I
through
think
this?
we really ground it up.
No more live action movies.
Oh, that was
Yeah.
one.
A live
right there.
action remake.
That's a
Yeah.
good.
I think that's
Live
a good-
action, and I'm kind of done with the Toy Story sequels.
Yes, yeah. I'm with Quentin Tarantino where he goes, the third one is the best one.
Yeah.
I'm good with that. Yeah, let us know what grinds your gears. If we didn't hit something, hit us up. If you're mad at podcasters giving you inaccurate facts, like Captain Hook is French, then let us know. All right? Because I don't know if he's French. But I say he's French. I don't know.
Can't we have a Toy Story movie with an Indiana Jones doll voiced by Harrison Ford?
I'll do it for $50 billion.
And he'll do it in that sad, like, deep voice. Like, oh, too old for this. And he's like, you can hear the cigarette, like, getting
like-
sucked through the microphone. Like, it's
I
just like,
just imagine they like Woody, like howdy. He's like, I have a bad feeling about this.
Tom Hanks is like, I'm so excited to finally work with you. And he's like, take it easy, kid. It's going to be a long road. All right, we're tangenting.
Yeah.
All right. Hit us up
Follow
on our social media if you have anything that like really grinds your gears about Disney. Anything goes. It's fun. It's a safe place to just let it out
Yeah.
and be negative. So with that being said, Auf Wiedersehen.
Thank you for joining us on this week's episode of the Matterhorn Yodelers. Please remember, before your bobsled comes to a complete stop, to follow us on Facebook and Instagram. And remember,
Remain seated, please. Permanecer sentados, por favor.